Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about Azure Data Engineer certification. So Azure Data Engineer certification, which is really popular these days, and it is called DP203. The examination is DP203, which you need to prepare. Today is the first day of the lecture and we are going to discuss more related to this topic called Azure Data Engineer. So in this one, we are going to understand the evolving world of data, and then we are going to survey the services on the Azure Data Platform and also identify the tasks of a data engineer in a cloud hosted architecture. So these are the three major topics which we are going to study today. So from last 30 years, the data is growing. Why is it growing? Because it's because of lots of softwares, social media apps, and then introduction of IoT. So all these came in last, and then we have mobile apps, and then we have smart devices like smart watches, smart gadgets, even your washing machine, your refrigerator. So data is constantly generated, right? So we are getting two types of data. Let's go into the technical part of it. So first is a structured data, and the another is unstructured data. Okay, so basically when we call it a structured data, so what is structured data? Structured data is having some kind of structure which is defined before you ingest any data. So you have a predefined structure, and after that you are ingesting the data. Now this structured data is handled in Azure by Azure SQL database and Azure SQL data warehouse. Now talking about the unstructured data, the very famous example is audio files and images. Also there are stream data like let's say messages. Okay, so messaging applications, or let's say you have the events driven, let's say IoT devices are generating events or triggering events, you can say. So all this is called unstructured data, and majority of unstructured data is widely seen or managed by Azure Blob. Okay, and the most famous for unstructured data is Azure Cosmos DB, and also we have Azure HD Insight. We'll go more deeper about each and every data platforms later on. But to understand these things, first we need to understand why Azure. The question is why Azure? Okay, even if the data has increased, you can easily manage using on-site premises, but why are we using Azure? So the thing is, these days many companies are going on and doing digital transformation. So when do companies do digital transformation? Digital transformation. Okay, so digital transformation companies do it when there is end of life cycle of what? Of infrastructure components or hardware. Okay, let's say for example, we have a company which is specialized in doing e-commerce business, and they are selling apparel. Okay, they are selling clothes online. They have they are operating, they are in market since past, let's say, 80 years. Okay, and from last 30 years they are selling it online. Now whatever they are doing, everything is managed on site, on premises these days. But now they realize that due to the advancement in different web applications, social media, they are not able to cope up with the current market trends. The CEO of the company is not able to get proper data. He's not getting accuracy in data. Let's say if you want to have a holistic approach from where the sales are coming, where are the potential customers, you won't be able to get everything because your hardware and infrastructure component is not capable of handling so much data, or is not able to integrate properly with modern day applications. In these cases, company management will decide to undergo a digital transformation project. And this is where data engineering or complete Azure comes into picture. There on if they do digital transformation project, now that can there are two options to do digital transformation. Okay, so one of the option is on premises, so and second is on cloud. Okay, now on premises, if you go on premises, what are the hurdles we will look at one by one. Okay, so first is licensing. So for every server, you need to have OS, right? And that needs to be licensed. So licensing is the issue. It's not an issue, but there are costs involved. And then you have physical servers, and then you have network infrastructure involved, and then you have power, you need storage, all these things you need to manage. Not only this much, whatever we are writing is not this much, even you need to regularly do the maintenance, and maintenance need to be done by a qualified professional, otherwise there is no meaning of maintenance, right? So all these are the costs involved. On top of it, you need to protect your on premises things. Not only you need to just one time expenditure on physical servers or network infrastructure, but you also need security, you need antivirus. Okay, so there are lots of costs involved. You need to, let's say if you are maintaining the entire premises, the IT premises, you need maintenance for drivers, hardware, firmware, BIOS, and also software. Okay, let's say if you are able to do all these things, but still, what about scalability? Hmm? Scalability, you need to increase the servers. Either you need to use a hardware based load balancer or a software based load balancer, but there are costs involved. There is a mental um, overhead for IT department. Okay, and after doing all this, what is the guarantee for uptime? Okay, let's say, now let me clear the concept of SLA. Let's say people say SLA of 99.9%. Okay, so there are 808, sorry, not 800, 8760, 8760 hours in a year. Okay, there are 8760 hours in a year. If you have, let's say, let's calculate 99.9% your SLA, your uptime, then of course there's 100. So 8751 minus 8760, how much? 8 hours you were down. That's not good. That's not good. 99.99, let's say 99.99. Okay, let's go back. So 99.99 divided by 100 into 8760. This is much better because you have a downtime of just zero point 0.8 hours. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is the difference between 99.9 and 99.99. You need to have as much as nines or more. In a normal scenario, this is what Azure gives you, 99.999. This is really nice. That's what they, as per the service level agreement, they guarantee you this much uptime. Okay, but for this case on premises, we don't know. It depends on the server administrator. It depends on how much, how how smart you were in deciding a brand for physical server, a brand for antivirus. It all depends. And after doing all these things, your actual data engineering, because why we did this digital transformation project? We did this digital transformation project so that CEO can get better report, your marketing department can get better data, better reports, your operations department can get better report. So all this overhead, due to this all overhead, actual data engineering or data wrangling, you're not able to do it. That's why the cloud comes into feature. Cloud, if you are on cloud, especially on Azure, you don't face these challenges of scalability, antivirus, security, physical server, licensing, network infrastructure, power, storage, maintenance. You just pay per month depending on how much you use, and then you're all set. So that's why we are going on cloud. So this was the major thing. Also, this, because you are on cloud, it's going to eliminate the complexity, and scalability will be also nice. Okay, because you are on cloud. Also, there are regular updates. Okay, you don't need to worry about software updates. They will take care of it. Also, one more benefit is multilingual. Why multilingual? Because on Azure you have a something called language code identifier, LCID. So language code identifier in a JSON, most of the things are done by JSON. So you can select the language for your system, not only for your system, but how you want to show or represent data based on the region. So you can use this option also. One of the drawback, it's not a drawback, but if you are not careful, there are chances of underutilization. What does underutilization means? Let's say you have a Azure virtual machine running, and you are putting it at 64 GB RAM. You have taken 64 GB RAM. It is done in just clicks of some mouse clicks. You are able to get the 64 GB virtual machine. But do you really need that? If you don't need that, you need to be smart enough to decide uh, which one to take. I may probably you just need 8 GB RAM, correct? So that is called underutilization. So you are configuring a virtual machine at 64 GB RAM. You are paying by pay per use. Okay, in Azure generally it is pay per use. So you are using depending on uh, you are using it less, and that is called underutilization, and that shouldn't happen. And this is the more important thing. Also, let's say if you are doing a digital transformation project, okay, transformation project in which there are two options. We already discussed these options, and you now agree that cloud is the best option. Okay, now still you have, if after deciding that cloud is a good option, let me delete all these things because you are no more doing this. You are going with cloud. Okay, you have decided, you are a data architect, you have decided we are going on cloud. Now on cloud, what happens? There are two possibilities: lift and shift, okay, or re-architecture. Which one will you choose? So depending on the situations, depending on the time constraints, depending on the budget constraints, companies decide. Let's discuss some more advantages, disadvantage, no, just the advantages part, because there is no much advantage of lift and shift. There is just a disadvantage. Okay, uh, the thing is, you're going to just move a particular physical or virtual server to cloud. That is a facility available in Azure. Okay, so you move physical or virtual server to cloud, but still it's very straightforward, and you can do it easily, and it will save your time. So that's the advantage. You are going to save the time, you're going to save costs involved in re-architecturing. You are going to get your systems running on cloud ASAP. You can proudly say that we are running on cloud. But are you taking full advantage of cloud? No, you are not taking full advantage of cloud. If you want to take full advantage of cloud, you need to understand this digital transformation project as opportunity to re-architecture the entire environment so that you can leverage the benefits of Azure cloud. So they are giving cognitive capabilities, okay, machine learning, bot services, AI, and whatnot. There are lots of possibilities. These all these things are going to help you in future in terms of getting better data, and due to better data your organization will be able to do give a better decision, can have their machine learning model depending on the situation. You can do some automation because of this. These are all the advantages which comes due to re-architecture. And the 30 years old technology, if you are just moving lift and shift, you don't have any scope for improvement. Here if you are re-architecturing, you definitely have scope for improvement. So this is what um, we we need to know about the differences, and how this was little bit introduction to Azure, why Azure, why we are doing it. at the end of the day you will be involved in a digital transformation project as data engineer. So most of you might be SQL Server administrator, okay, or you are DB admin, some, okay, so working in a company from last 10 to 20 years, and now you are looking at certifying yourself, upskilling yourself, you are upskilling yourself towards cloud, okay, and especially Azure. So in a simple terms, you won't, when you are becoming a data engineer, let me may focus like this, if you are data engineer, you are focusing more on data rather than SQL Server. So you don't need to worry about SQL Server maintenance, etc. That is going to take, Azure is going to take care of for it. You are focusing more on data. How can you wrangle with the data? How can you get better insights? How can you transform the data better? How can you get more and more data? So all these things you are going to leverage when you are using Azure. So that's it for today's lecture, and we'll continue with different other topics related to Azure for the data engineer in next lecture. Thank you.